This is your Unit 4A Day 3 video notes. In this video, you're going to practice writing unit rates, simplifying ratios and rates, and making comparisons between two ratios. This is under Standard 2A and 3B. So we are first going to be talking about unit rates. So when you are when calculating the unit rate of verbal representation, you must pay attention to the units. The units are really important, all right, because that tells you what you're measuring. What is your comparison? If you don't know your units, you don't know what you're comparing, okay? Let's look at a few examples of situations in the real world where you will be using ratios and rates, and you can break it down into a unit rate. So a lot of times you will see phrases with cost. And if you see a phrase with cost, a lot of times you'll see it as price over number of items. An example of this that you would see, for example, would be $50 for 5 pizzas. Beautiful. Okay, you guys, this says pizzas, all right? It's very messy. So we have $50 for 5 pizzas. If we want to know the cost per pizza, what we need to do is we divide our numerator by our denominator. So we have 50 divided by 5, and you would type that in your calculator. 50 divided by 5, and that equals $10. So it's $10 per pizza. It's very, very important that you put this in the calculator the right way. It's 50 divided by 5. 50 divided by 5 equals 10. We're looking at the price per number of items, so it's $10 per pizza. Another thing you might see are phrases with time. This might look like whatever the unit is, whatever you're doing, the unit over the amount of time. An example of this would be 300 meters in 60 seconds. Okay? So you see this one, you might be like, unit? What the heck? Just unit? Well, we measure things in like meters and centimeters, miles, so that's why we just have unit right here, because that might change. So here's an example, 300 meters in 60 seconds. We write that as a ratio, 300 meters over 60 seconds, keeping those units in there, very important, all right? So then we'll write this as a fraction. So we have 300 to 60. Next, we do 300 divided by 60 in our calculator, and we get an answer of 5. So that means 5 meters per second. All right. Sorry for the bad handwriting, friends. Doing my best. Okay. There are many other units that you might see. So the big thing is you just need to pay attention to what is the unit. Specific unit from the phrase over the specific unit from the phrase. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's try another, like a different type of situation, a unique situation with specific units still. 120 students for every 3 buses. So I need to make sure I include my units. So it's 120 students for 3 buses, okay? I know which 2 units I'm comparing. I'm comparing students to buses. 120 to 3. I divide 120 divided by 3. I put it in my calculator like that. The number on top, the numerator goes in first. 120 divided by 3 equals 40. So that means there's 40 students per bus. Okay? this unit on the bottom is always going to be what it's per. Okay, so bus is here, so it's per bus. Seconds here, per second. Pizza's here, per pizza. Okay? Let's move on. All right, let's look at this situation. The car traveled 180 miles in 3 hours. Okay, I've highlighted the different units. And what you're going to do over here to solve is the same steps you were doing before. We have 180 divided by 3. That equals 180 divided by 3. And that is equal to 60. So what does this mean? 60 miles per hour. Okay? All right. What I want you to do now is pause the video and try these on your own. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to try these on your own. Your job right now is to check your work, okay? There are some in here that are not whole numbers, which might be a little bit confusing or unexpected, but that might happen. So we have 14 ribbons, 3 bottles of glitter. 14 divided by 3 is 4.7. 4.7 ribbons per bottle. Remember? We always have our numerator, denominator. We do 14 divided by 3. Whatever the answer is this first thing per bottle. So the per bottle is the denominator. So whatever is on the bottom is the one that it's per. Okay? So go ahead, pause the video, look at the answers, and let's move on. So why are we doing this? Unit rates we use unit rates to make decisions by comparing things. So we're comparing those different units. Okay? So let's look over here. Dakota's on a budget. He doesn't have a lot of money, and he needs to choose the best option for candy. He wants to pick the cheapest one, the best deal, because he's a little low on cash. So we are trying to figure out the price per bag, okay? Notice how I said price per bag? Per, or the bag, the amount needs to go on the bottom because we're trying to figure out the price per bag. So I would write my price here, and my bag is going to be down here because we want to know the price per bag. Whatever it is per, that's the one that's that's the one that's going on bottom. So now we have our 3 different types of candies, and we're going to just go ahead. 10 divided by 5, because it's price on top, so 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2 over 1, which means $2 per bag. Next, it's price per bag, so price is on top, $9 divided by 3 equals 3 over 1, which is $3 per bag. And our last one, remember, price is on top, so the price goes on top. It's per bag, so my bag is my denominator. 10 divided by 4 is equal to 2.5 over 1, so it's $2.50 per bag. The last thing is that you are going to need to be able to explain this. So we're saying, like, which one's better? He's trying to, get the most bang for his buck. And here we go. Dakota should purchase M&Ms because it costs $2 per bag, okay, compared to $2.50 and $3. So this is the best deal because it is the cheapest per bag. Okay, now we're going to look at another one here. We are going to look at some cookies. So given 2 types of cookies, which bag is a better deal? We're going to circle the better option and explain it. So I have this over here. We'll just put it there. All right. So we are trying to figure out, let's look at it, which bag is a better deal. So we have types of cookies, better deal, so that's money, and we have our bag. All right, so we want to figure out which is the better deal, which we know is money. So we have our price on top. Okay. And we have our bag on the bottom. Because remember, we're trying to figure out the price per bag. That's going to let us know what the cheapest option is. So price is on top, and bag is on bottom. Remember, always ask yourself, it's per what? That is what goes on the bottom. Here we have price per bag. How do we do this? Okay, again, same thing we've been doing. We have our numerator divided by our denominator. So our price is up top, 20, and we're going to divide that by the number of bags, or how big the bag is, which is 10 ounces. Remember to include those units, that's important. Okay, now we go over to this one, and the price for this is $25 for 20 ounces, okay? This is ounce. This does not say 100. I will make sure I fix that so you can tell what it's supposed to say. So this is ounce. Perfect. So I go ahead now, I've set up my ratio, and I'm going to go ahead and divide. 20 divided by 10 is equal to 2 over 1, and 25 divided by 20 is equal to 1.25 over 1. Okay, so now it's asking which one is a better deal. Well, if this one is $2 per bag and this one is $1.25 per bag, what's the better deal? The one that's cheaper. So we would say bag 2 is a better deal. You should explain it, and you'll be expected to explain it on your assessment, but I'm not going to right now. Okay, I want you to try these ones on your own now, and then just pause the video, try them on your own, and then come back and check your work. Okay, hopefully you tried these on your own, and let's show you the answers so you could check your work. Pause the video and compare your answers. If it is not the same, try to identify your mistake. Okay, I want